So today's video, we're going to be talking about mud flares for your side-by-side, specifically the Gen 2 ZForce 950 Sport. So if you look here, I ended up adding a set of mud flares that were from UTV Direct. And although these had some decent coverage, I mean, you can see you're going to get probably about maybe 1.5 inches outside of the stock fender flare, and maybe about 5 inches back here. But if you look straight down, this tire is still exposed. Same with that. These are 27-inch tires, and if you look, they're still exposed. But one thing I want to point out about the UTV Direct mud flaps, they have a flaw, a big flaw. Do you see how they hang down past the bottom of your frame? That's all great and dandy, especially the front one. So if it catches something, it's just going to bend back against the frame. Not the case with the rear. The rear, and you can see this one's already broken. See the holes, right? The rear hangs down about probably 4 inches. So if you catch a rock, it's going to rip this right off. And look at it. It pulled all of the push pins out of this. But the worst part about this flaw is I already lost my right one. It's gone. Totally gone. And I lost it on a trail, didn't know it until I got home and I was washing it, and I'm like, wait, something looks weird. Something's missing. And sure enough, it was this mud flare. So my piece of advice, if you guys are gonna buy the UTV Direct Gen 2 ZForce CFMoto mud flares or mud flaps, make sure you trim the bottom underneath so it doesn't get caught on a rock and you end up going through what I went through, and I lost mine out on the trail. So what we're going to be doing is replacing these with a set of full fender flares front and back from Hangar 116. Hangar 116 is based out of Canada, and these flares were much cheaper than the UTV Direct. And what led me to buy these was not only the price, but they actually have much better coverage back here in the rear end. They come out much further, so you're going to get less mud and such thrown up on the back of your machine. So I am now going to be installing these, and they install exactly the same way as these do. I already have holes drilled. I don't think they're going to match up to the holes that are already on here. We'll see. I doubt it. If I have to drill new holes, oh well. If I end up having to sell this and take these off, I can replace these. These aren't super expensive. But I'm going to be taking the UTV Direct flares off, and I am going to be installing the Hangar 116s. What led me to move to the Hangar 116s is not only the price, but also for the fact that when I reached out to UTV Direct and explained to them that, hey, my flare caught a rock, ripped it off the machine, is there any way I can buy a rear set from the manufacturer? They were adamant. They just said, no, you have to buy a full new set, which I don't need two, because as you can see, I already have two. So I was not happy with the way UTV Direct handled the situation. And when I reached out to Hangar 116, they also don't sell split sets, because I was going to try to buy the rear set. What happens if you lose one of these? What happens if one of these gets damaged? You have to spend $200 to buy another whole set when you don't need a whole set. You only need to replace one. And considering there's a design flaw, I'm going to tell you that's a design flaw, because this is a catch point. So if you hit a rock here, it's going to rip this right back. So I would have thought they would have worked with me a little bit better. So guess what? They're going to lose the business, and Hangar 116 gets my business. It is now the next day, and as I was stating, my plan was to remove the UTV Direct mud flares. This one's still on here, but what I did to show you guys a comparison is I did the right side with the Hangar 116 flares. So if you were to look at the right side, that's probably about 3 inches right here, okay, of coverage, extension from the original right front flare. That's the Hangar 116. If you were to come over and look at this one, at the shortest area, you're looking at about an inch, okay? 1 inch. So you're definitely gaining some coverage on the front ones. Now, if you were to look at the rear ones, and like I had stated, if you look here, how this cuts off, okay, so you still have this whole tire exposed. And these are 27s, so these are like the stock size, just a different tire. If you were to be running 30s, they're gonna come out probably even more. And, you know, so keep that in mind, all right? So you see the rear, okay? Comes out to about middle of the tire. Those are the Hangar 116s. And if you look, it's got massive coverage if you look at this. I mean, this is probably close to 9 inches back here. And then you have probably about 2 inches on this side versus about an inch on this side. So if you look at, now these do not go all the way down the fender, if you look at it from this perspective, okay? But that's fine, because technically the tire, you know, if you look where the tire is, all right, I'm gonna come down here. You have a little bit down there that's gonna just fly forward. It's not, hopefully not gonna fly up on the machine. But if you look at this side, this flare does come all the way down, but like I had mentioned, there is a catch point here. So just keep that in mind. If you were to go with the UTV Directs, I would suggest cutting this off, maybe rounding this up if you have the UTV Directs before you lose them, because that's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be taking these off and that one, and I'll be installing the left side of the Hangar 116 flares. But I mean, overall, I think this gives great protection for mud. And I think it gives a side-by-side a little bit cooler look in the rear. So there you have it, guys. I would definitely recommend the Hangar 116s over the UTV Direct ones, because just from my experience, I think the Hangar 116s are going to take better abuse. So there you go. Everybody know when they click through.